You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, no doubt about it, the Indiana Fever had one hell of an offseason. No doubt about it. Re-signing Kelsey Mitchell, bringing in Natasha Howard, Sophie Cunningham, DeWanna Bonner. The list goes on and on. Maybe most importantly, Stephanie White replacing Christy Sides as coach. We haven't talked about that enough, frankly. Does anybody remember the nightmares that was last season? Well, I will give the fans of this team a lot of credit. And, well, some professional bettors out there, I'm sure. A lot of credit because, by God, in the WNBA, there is one America's team, and you guys have put your money where your mouth is, and a ton of it. A ton of it. There is a story now out by way of ESPN on the titanic amount of bets that has been put on the Indiana Fever to win the WNBA championship. And I saw this and was like, holy shit. I mean, I laughed. I did. I was like, wow, okay. So here we go with this story. Let's check this out. Ever since she burst onto the scene in the WNBA scene in 2024, her paradigm-shifting college career, Caitlin Clark has been the center of the professional women's basketball world. I'd say women's sports, frankly, not just basketball. Attracting massive viewership, putting the league into the mainstream sports spotlight. She also garnered lots of betting attention for the Indiana Fever last season. Even the team was not ready to compete for the WNBA Finals yet. Here we go. But 2025 could be different. During a free agency full of headline-grabbing transactions, the Fever made some of the biggest splashes of the offseason, acquiring DeWanna Bonner, Natasha Howard, Sophie Cunningham, among others. Combined with the past two Rookie of the Years in Clark and Aaliyah Boston, Indiana suddenly has a very formidable squad, and the betting odds reflect that. The Fever are a plus 350 to win the WNBA Finals at ESPN Bet, tied for second with the Las Vegas Aces and trailing only the reigning champion New York Liberty at plus 230. This is where it gets jaw-dropping, folks. The hype has bettors backing the Fever en masse and sportsbooks sweating massive liability. Look, if the Indiana Fever win the title, the sports books are about to take a massive bath. And it's hilarious, actually. ESPN Bet, BetMGM, and DraftKings all report huge handle on Indiana to win the finals, with the latter reporting the highest money share at an astounding 86%. Wow, 86% of all the money coming in is on the Fever. Wow, FanDuel Senior Vice President and General Manager Carol Corcoran told ESPN over email that the Fever have, quote, more than 7 times the number of bets to win this year's championship compared to the next team. Wow. So 86% of the money share and 7 times more bets. We talk about Caitlin Clark moving the needle all the time. All the time. All right. So let me just give an example. Let's say there are 1,000 bets on the Liberty to win. That means there's 7,000 on the Fever. That's how that works out. If there are 100,000 bets on the Las Vegas Aces, that means there's 700,000 Fever bets. That's what 7 times looks like. Wow. The big free agency swings and massive action moved Indiana from plus 1,000 to open to plus 350 by early April at ESPN Bet. Quote, the Fever have been immensely popular since we posted the future markets and our biggest liability by a wide margin. Look, wow. The houses are worried about this, actually. The sports book's North American sports trading director, Adrian Horton, said in an email, bettors seem to have high expectations ahead of Caitlin Clark's second year. I wonder if they got like prop bets, like where she is right now to win MVP, etc. Of course, Indiana didn't sniff the finals last season and will have to bypass perennial contenders such as Liberty, Aces, and Lynx to get there in 2025. Those teams have seen their odds fluctuate wildly from open by virtue of the Fever's action. Liberty, Aces, and Lynx didn't do a whole lot to help themselves, but they still have key players. DraftKings sports director Johnny Avelio told ESPN, when you're making these odds as odds makers, you have to make sure you balance out your whole percentage. Specifically, New York and Minnesota made no big transactions in free agency, thus saw their championship odds lengthen from plus 200 to plus 230 and plus 350 to plus 400 respectively. It goes on to talk about Las Vegas, of course, essentially exchanged Kelsey Plum for Jewel Loyal. So that's something out there that they did. The Sparks acquired Plum, and Cameron Britt's coming back. That shot them from 100 to 1 to plus 4,000. And Brittany Griner and Brianna Jones saw their odds remain stagnant for the Atlanta Dream at plus 5,000. So that's pretty wild. That's pretty nuts. Look, I never even thought about that. I don't know why when we talk about moving the needle, ratings, gate revenue, and attendance, but what are the bettors doing? This tells you right here all you need to know about the fan support. One could argue that's not a bad way to judge the amount of fans versus other, think about that. Now, there's professional bettors in there too that's going to be involved in all this, but 7 times the amount of bets are on the Fever. And if I read that and interpreted it correctly, $86 out of every $100 is on the Fever. Wow. That is unbelievable. Tell me in the comment section, look, I guess, there is a big team in every league. The Dodgers, the Yankees, the Cowboys. I'm not talking about it's always winning, but I'm talking about far as the teams that everybody tunes into, Lakers, Dodgers, Yankees, Cowboys, Chiefs, all these teams, Celtics. The Indiana Fever are clearly that team in the WNBA, and I don't think it's close. And we saw that with the ratings last year. Again, 3.5 times the amount of viewers for Fever games as any other team in the league. Tell me what you think. Wow. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.